All right, well, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming. This is our second session in regards to special needs planning. Jillian, if you want to get us started.
Sure. Can you just go to the next slide, Christina? We'll just do a quick intro on everyone. So we really appreciate everyone being here at our last session. If you weren't at the last session, we did miss you, but we are excited to share more information today. So my name is Jillian Kashuba. I'm a financial advisor here at Forest Hills Financial Group. The reason that this is something that we are passionate about, at least personally speaking, I have a daughter who, when she was 4 years old, was diagnosed with autism. So that led me on my special needs planning journey as a mom. And as an advisor, I really do feel like there is a lot of information out there that people don't know or they don't understand. So as an advisor, I try and educate my clients on the importance of understanding the special needs planning world and the intricacies and the complications around all of that. So I'm excited to be here with all of you today.
Perfect. And I am Letty Blanco. I work alongside with Jill. For me, my this is personal to me because of my brother. He was diagnosed when he was 2. He is 13 now. He's nonverbal. And we're just constantly looking ways to spread awareness and, bring families together to, get more resources. And we are excited to have you all here and looking forward to seeing you today and for our next sessions to come.
Yep. And I'm Christina Sammartino. I'm the partner with Sammartino and Sultan Law Group. Overall, just passionate about estate planning and elder law because we were the family who didn't have the plan in place and was scrambling last minute. So I know how important overall estate planning and special needs planning and elder law planning is for all different types of families. So thank you guys all for coming out on this Monday evening, and we look forward to starting. So some of the things that we're going to cover today is what is a special needs trust does, the purpose, protection, and foundation of the plan, the different types of trust that there are out there, funding strategies, ABLE accounts, and how ABLE accounts work with trust, and some common planning mistakes to avoid. So with a special needs trust, there are certain purposes and reasons for using them. When you have a properly drafted special needs trust, you can help a loved one stay qualified for certain benefits. So if you have the loved one who is on maybe Medicaid or SSI and they want to keep those benefits but have come into some assets, whether it's an inheritance or maybe an award through a personal injury or negligent case, the purpose of the S&T is to be able to preserve those benefits without losing the money that they've come into. It helps to pay for certain qualities of life. So things that the special needs trust can pay for, things like therapies, travel, technology, a new iPad, laptop, personal care that is not covered by their benefits. So if they need like a massage or they just want some extras, it can help pay for those things. Court supervised protection. So your trustee has what's called a fiduciary duty, and fiduciaries are held to a higher standard than the normal person. So when they have access to your trust, they have to make sure that they're acting within the scope of the law and in your best interest. Long-term continuity. With the trust in place, it can help enhance your care and spread out the wealth so that you have it for a long period of time. Another type of special needs trust is a third-party special needs trust. So this is funded with money from a loved one. So if your parents want to set up a trust now for you knowing that maybe you're going to need help later on in life, that you may be on governmental benefits later on in life, it could be funded with a savings, inheritance through a will or a trust, life insurance proceeds. There's no Medicaid payback requirement with a third-party special needs trust. So these are really important estate planning tools for people who has a loved one who maybe is on the spectrum or is going to receive governmental benefits in the future. Maybe we'll need a guardian in the future as well, and they want to provide for them. They don't want them to lose their benefits, so they're not going to give them the gifts outright, and they're not going to leave them beneficiaries directly on their life insurance or their bank accounts or their IRAs. The other benefit to a third-party special needs trust is that if the recipient of that trust should pass away, there's no government payback, and you as the creator of the trust can say who the next beneficiaries will be, whether it's their children, their siblings, their cousins, or even a charity of your choosing. It's very flexible because when you create it and you sit down with your attorney, you can dictate what you want to happen to the assets and how they should go. It's very important that you set this up prior to them receiving the inheritance, because again, if they receive it outright in their name, they will lose their benefits. We now have first party and pooled trust. So a first party or a self-settled special needs trust is funded with the beneficiary's own money. As I said earlier, it's money that you get from either an inheritance that wasn't properly planned for, or maybe a settlement, an accident, or some kind of medical malpractice. The most important thing to know with a first party trust is that it must be created and funded before the age of 65. And that the beneficiaries of that trust once the person has passed away is Medicaid. There is state reimbursement that has to be paid back first. These are often, again, as I said before, a lot of times we see this in really with personal injury settlements or improper estate planning. Then we have pooled special needs trust, which are managed by a nonprofit organization. There are several different pooled trust companies throughout New York that you could work with. The name itself, pooled, means that it combines funds for investment efficiency with all people's funds throughout New York. It's available at any age, so there's no 65 restriction. So if somebody comes into an inheritance or an injury award after age 65, then this is the best trust for them. And there is Medicaid payback that also applies. However, pooled trust, because it's run by nonprofit organizations, you cannot pick your own trustee. So there is a corporate fiduciary, a corporate trustee through the pooled trust company.
Okay, so we're going to talk about some funding strategies and different ways that you can make the trust work for you. So basically, there are different ways that you want to coordinate the funding for a special needs trust. So first and foremost, we talk a lot about life insurance and coming into a life insurance inheritance. So a survivorship return policy named to the trust provides a large income tax-free lump sum at death. This is often the cornerstone of the special needs, like the special needs trust funding. Think about it this way, as parents of children with special needs, you're really a lot of these children, depending on, their situation might rely on you for financial guidance, financial aid, as they get older, as they become adults. And if God forbid something were to happen to you as the parent, right, who is going to, where's that money going to go? Who's going to be providing for that child, even through their adult life? The last thing you want is to leave money to your child outright, directly, because if they are on any government benefits, that will impact them. So making sure that, number one, you have the right life insurance in place, you have enough coverage that knowing that, if God forbid you pass away, that money is there for your child, but it's there in the special needs trust and not left directly to the child. So that brings us to beneficiary designations. For IRAs, for 401ks, annuities, any sort of investment accounts that you have, if you are going to be passing that money down to your loved one when you pass away, it is important to make sure that the beneficiary designations, including the life insurance, including your retirement accounts, including your investment accounts, are named as the trust as the beneficiary and not necessarily the child directly. Direct contributions. So family and friends can contribute gifts, right? They can give gifts. People like to give gifts. They want to help, they want to pass down money, but gifts can be given directly through the special needs trust at any time. So it's really important to make sure that as you're communicating with your family members, when you're talking about your children, and, yes, grandma and grandpa want to give money for, the bar and bat mitzvah or the communion or whatever it may be, to make sure that they're giving those contributions directly to the trust and not necessarily directly through the child, right? We talked about this in the last session, but there is a look back period. So we want to make sure that, again, even if as an adult, you're not getting money, and let's just say, you got money 5 years ago, or let's just say 4 years ago, right? Grandpa gave you money, he passed away, you got an inheritance, that counts towards your look back period. So we really want to make sure that everything is funded within the trust itself. And then really coordinating your estate plan. So wills, revocable trust, pour over clauses ensure all estate assets flow directly into the special needs trust rather than directly to the beneficiary. So making sure that you're working with a financial advisor and an estate planning attorney who understands both of this and can work well together to build the special needs trust, and exactly what's going into there is very important as you do planning for the future for your children. Okay, so we talked a little bit about life insurance, but basically life insurance pays out when someone has passed, right? There's different types of insurance. There's term insurance, there's permanent insurance. But really, in reality, the purpose of the insurance is to make sure that if God forbid something happens to someone, there is money left over for the children, for the family, and that it is going into the special needs trust. So that way the large tax-free income that's coming in is directly flowing into the trust itself and not directly to the individual. So name the trust, not the person. Retirement account caution. Naming a trust as an IRA beneficiary does trigger the 10-year distribution rule, potentially compressing taxable income. So a specially drafted standalone S&T IRA trust may be required to preserve both benefits and eligibility and tax efficiency. So keep that in mind too, because it's not just naming a trust as an IRA beneficiary protects that benefit. If someone passes away, there is that 10-year pay down or distribution rule that can then show taxable income. So you really need to make sure that you're drafting the special needs trust in a way to make sure that it preserves both benefits and tax efficiency. So again, work with your accountant, work with your advisor, work with your estate planning attorney to make sure you're doing that correctly. We really want you to review your designations annually. So look, at the end of the day, you're going to have old policies that you don't know exist. You may have exes or deceased relatives that are naming people as beneficiaries that can, really impact that child's special needs planning. So make sure that you are able to get all of your documents in a row, kind of all your ducks in a row, and look at everything you have and just make sure everything's up to date. Try and plan an annual review and really revisit after every major life event. I'll give you a personal example. There's someone that I know who, she was divorced. When she created her documents, her legal documents, she was married. She didn't know that she would have, a child with special needs. They got divorced, when this child was young, right? And now you have an adult child. Her estate plan still says information about her and her husband. They're no longer married. They're divorced. He's an adult now with special needs and he's collecting benefits, and they need to make sure that they redo that plan, because that estate plan no longer is, valid based on the fact that those two are divorced and now they have to separate that out. So just make sure that, as life happens, every major life event, you're working with your advisor, working with your estate planning attorney, your accountants on all of this. A lot of people had questions in our last session about ABLE accounts, so I'm just going to cover that. This is not a replacement for a special needs trust. This is really to complement a special needs trust. And there have actually been changes to the ABLE accounts that people are not aware of for 2026. So I'm going to go into some of that. So an ABLE account, what it is it's a tax advantage savings account for individuals with disabilities. The disability has to occur prior to the age of 46. So previously it was 26. So you would have to become disabled prior to the age of 26 in order to have an ABLE account. Now, let's just say someone wanted to set up an ABLE account when they were 30, 35, 40, whatever it may be. As long as they were disabled prior to 26, they're still able to set up that account. So now it's just been expanded. So if someone, let's just say, becomes disabled by the age of 46, you can set up this ABLE account. And there is an annual contribution limit. So every year you can contribute $19,000 to an ABLE account. Or if you are employed under Able to Work, you can contribute an additional 14,580. Okay. The ABLE account, the first 100,000 in the account does not count against the SSI $2,000 asset limit. Okay. And that's $2,000 for an individual. So what that means, if you're putting in 19,000 a year, right? You can continue to put 19,000 a year until the account reaches that 100,000 before it will count against the SSI $2,000 asset limit. The beneficiary on the ABLE account has access to debit cards, which is really ideal for day-to-day qualified disability expenses. So that brings us to the next piece. What is a qualified disability expense? You will be surprised. The difference between an ABLE account and a 529 account are vastly different, right? An ABLE account is used for everyday spending. Your food, your transportation, your personal care, recreation. There is an entire list on the ABLE website where you can see exactly what an ABLE account is used for, but your day-to-day, everyday living expenses, everyday spending. It's easy to access. So you can have that direct debit card access, which can help with those day-to-day like qualified expenses versus tapping into that special needs trust that might be used for something like a large long-term asset, housing, major equipment, lifetime care needs, things like that. So the ABLE account can really be used for a lot of different things. And again, as long as it stays under that 100,000, it does not count against the SSI $2,000 asset limit. Okay. There was one more thing I was going to say about that. Sorry. I don't know. Oh, yes. Something that I'm dealing with personally. It's not on here, but when my daughter was young, when she was like probably just about a year old, I always said like, my daughter's going to go to college and I'm going to put money aside for her to go to college. And I started a 529 plan for her when she was only a year old. Little did I know, is she going to go to college? I don't know. She might not, right? But you have the ability, if you set up a 529 plan for your child that is disabled, and let's just say down the road they aren't going to go to college for whatever reason, you can actually take the ABLE account and you could transfer it into, or a 529 account, you could transfer it into a 529 ABLE account. So that is the only thing you could do with a 529 account, aside from using it for college. And then now you can use it for, you could take a portion of it to put towards an IRA if you don't end up using it for college. But you do have the opportunity to be able to transfer that 529 into an ABLE as long as the child was disabled prior to age 46. Melissa, question.
So Jillian, let me ask you a question. Am I allowed to use my ABLE account funds towards specialized therapy? Because I don't have a trust fund or anything like that.
Yes, so you should be able to. I can send you the website and it'll list exactly what you can use, and you'll be surprised. Like I saw, like people can use it for toiletries, they can use it for hair care, things like that, like hygiene, all of that. So I definitely think for therapies, I'll confirm, but it is considered a qualified disability expense.
Okay, yeah, because I pay cash for therapy, so I can use that. That would be great.
Yeah. So I'll confirm it. Now, anyone who's on the call, keep in mind, there are a few different ways you can set up an ABLE account. So you can go direct to the ABLE New York website, which I can also send to everyone after this, just so you have it. Or if you are, not looking to do all the work yourself, you can work with any advisor, and they can help you with an ABLE account for the funding purposes and how to, make sure you're contributing and everything like that. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about some common planning mistakes. Letty?
All right. Are you doing you want me to do the mistake, the fix, or?
Yeah, do the mistakes.
All right, perfect. So the mistakes and the fix. So let's start off with the mistakes. So majority of the mistakes are leaving assets directly to the person with a disability, naming the individual, not the trust, on life insurance or retirement accounts, relying on a sibling to informally do the right thing,
Letty
creating
knows that firsthand, by the way.
essay.
She is going to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yes, I'm currently dealing with that right now. So creating a trust but never funding it. Using a special needs trust funds for food or shelter without understanding SSI offset rules. Failing to update beneficiary designations after the trust is created. Now the fix. Leave assets to a property. Oh, sorry. Leave assets to a properly drafted special needs trust. Update all beneficiaries designations to special needs trusts. Use a legally binding trust with neutral trained trustee. Fund the trust now through policy or direct gift. Work with trustees or advisors who understands distribution rules. Review designations annually and after major life event. So
So I
that's
just want
it.
to elaborate a little bit, Letty, on this
Yeah.
is, the biggest thing we see with all estate planning in general, not just special needs trusts, but with trust in general, is that people come in and they have their trust done, and we send home some rules and tell them what needs to go into the trust and how they should properly fund the trust. And it never actually gets done. And then a loved one passes away, and the family comes back with a document, the trust, and we say, okay, great, what's in there? And they say, I have no idea. And we look, and it was never funded. And now we're doing an estate, or we're going through these processes. So it's really important that you fund them. And when clients come to us at San Martino and Sultan, after we sign their documents, we wait a few weeks and we have our specialists in the office set a funding meeting to make sure beneficiary designations are properly done, make sure assets are actually going into the trust. And we also encourage our clients to come in for free every year or every 3 years to just review. Life changes, things happen. One day somebody could be fine, the next they might be on disability. Maybe, one year they don't have a child, the next they do. Jillian, as you said, you had a child and thought plan A was going to work, and now you might need to transition to plan B, and maybe in 5 years you transition back to plan A. But it's always important to come in to get everything reviewed.
Absolutely. And I think the important thing to know, and I'm sure everyone, is realizing this on the call, right? The trust is the legal document. It's what says everything that's going to happen. But like Christina said, if it's not being funded, it's just a legal document. It's not, it doesn't have the money and everything behind it. It's just saying, like, here's what you should be doing with this money, but it's got to be funded. And, it's really important. Again, like if you do work with an estate planning attorney or an advisor, make sure everyone's on the same page with that. All right, Christina, take us home.
All right, so some of the key takeaways that we hope everybody got out of tonight's presentation was, what is the benefit of an S&T and how it protects benefits, and not only protects the benefits, but enhances your life. Again, a properly funded trust fills the gap between what the government is giving you and what your loved one or even yourself, what you truly need. Having those governmental benefits are great, but people want to enjoy a vacation. They want to enjoy the newest technologies. They want to still be able to live life. The type of trust truly matters, whether it's a third party, first party, or a pool trust. It's very specific based on goals and everybody's and each individual's specific situation. So it's really important that you sit down with a team to see which trust is best for you and for your loved one. Fund. Fund the trust. Make strategic funding meetings. Make the plan. Know which assets should go into what type of trust. Maybe you need different types of trust. As Jillian said, having the IRA can trigger some events. So maybe we want to do an S&T IRA trust just for the IRA, and do a separate type of trust for maybe the investments or the cash or the house. Using the ABLE and S&T as a team, being able to have both, the able for the flexibility to use for your day-to-day, and the S&T for more long-term asset protection. They could go hand in hand and they can complement each other. It's not, you can have both or none. It's whatever is for best for your situation. And review. Life changes. It changes every day, every year, every month. So it's important to stay involved and to get it just looked at. There's no harm in it. Worst case scenario is you spend an hour sitting down with your team of players, your accountant, your financial advisor, your estate planning attorney, and realize that no changes need to be made. Everything is still the same. So here at San Martino and Sultan, we wanted to thank everybody for coming today. If you decide to schedule a free consultation with us and you decide to hire us, you get $500 off your trust package, whichever trust package it is that is best for you. Again, we offer free consultations, so you could give us a call or send us an email. We're happy to assist, even if you just have any questions that you want answered, we're happy to do so. Our next few events is coming up on May 27th and June 11th. Jillian, do you want to elaborate?
On May 27th, this is less financial related, but we are going to have a session on just education planning, IEP process, advocacy through school years. And then to follow up that session, it's really going to be around adult life, long-term funding after school age, and building a sustainable adult life plan. So talking about things like guardianship for those final meetings, and we will have guest speakers for both the May 27th session and the June 11th session.
That's it.
Does anybody have any other questions that they have? We're happy to take some questions for the next few minutes. No? As you can see, you can scan the QR code to get our information. We have several offices throughout Long Island. We also have additional offices in Brooklyn and Westchester. My partner, Leslie Sultan, she goes all over. She goes into Manhattan, Bronx, really anywhere, Queens. We have clients all over. If our client or loved one is unable to leave their home, or if they're already in a facility, we are happy to go to them. You could jot down our number and email. And again, if you guys have any questions, something you didn't want to maybe share on the Zoom here, or you know, something that comes to you later on, feel free to give us a call or email. And Jillian and Letty, do you guys want to put your information into the chat?
Sure. And I'm also going to put that link for the New York ABLE plan. So that way everyone had that. Okay. Oh, nope. Let's see. mynewyorkable.org. I'll paste in here. And then if anyone has questions, here is my contact info. And Letty, you want to throw yours in there?
Yeah.
All right. Feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions.
Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.